Hi everybody, this is Judy at Judi in the Kitchen. Today I'm going to make some lentil soup with sweet potatoes and kale. Like so many of my recipes, I've tried to make this as easy as I possibly can. There's a lot of ingredients here, but there's ways that you can shortcut this to help make putting it together just a little bit easier. We're going to start with 2½ cups of small diced sweet potatoes. And to that, I'm going to add 1½ cups of small diced carrots. When I say small, think in terms of you're eating soup and it's on a spoon, so you don't want it to be huge pieces. And now I have 1 bunch of fresh kale that I have chopped up. Now you can easily make this a little easier on yourself. You could buy a bag of fresh kale that's already chopped and just dump that whole thing in here. It's roughly 6 cups of chopped kale that have been pushed down in the measuring cup so that you really get a full 6 cups. But this is 1 bunch of kale that I've chopped up. If you really want to make life easier, you could use some frozen kale. We want 1 cup of diced yellow onion, and you could use frozen onion if you want and just measure out a cup of it, and that makes it easier. Then we want 1 cup of brown lentils that have been rinsed and drained. And then we want 1/2 cup of rice of choice. Now if you don't want to use rice, you could use steel cut oats, you could use quinoa, amaranth, whatever type of food like that that you like to eat. And then we want 2 14½-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. I happen to have 1 can here of classic diced and 1 can of petite diced. It really doesn't make any difference. We're going to add some herbs in here. We've got 1½ tablespoons of dried parsley, 1 tablespoon of dried thyme. And now we're going to add some liquid to this. You can add a little salt to this if you want, but it's optional, and I would say allow it to cook for a little while before you add any salt. Now we're adding 8 cups or 2 cartons of vegetable broth. Now the second carton. This does make a lot of soup. It makes about 8 servings, so it is a big pot. You could easily cut this in half if you want. And now we want 2 cups of water. And yes, this is similar to some of my other soups. It's a spin-off from some of my others. This formula that I've got works really well for us. We enjoy it, so I wanted to share it with you. Now we're going to take this to the stove. Now I'm going to turn the stove on to high. I'm going to bring this to a boil, cover it up, and once it's boiling, I'm going to lower the heat down so it just simmers, and I want it to simmer for 45 minutes to an hour, somewhere in there. And then I will show you what it looks like as it progresses. It doesn't look like there's much liquid in there right now, but that kale will really dwindle down fast as soon as this starts to boil, and I'll keep you posted. It's starting to boil now. So you can see the kale is starting to melt down a little bit, and we've got a lot of liquid in there, which we're going to need. We've got a lot of vegetables. They're going to soak that up. So I'm just going to turn it down to a medium heat right now and monitor it, stir it every now and then, allow it to simmer for 45 minutes to an hour, somewhere in there. I just wanted you to see how it is midstream here. It's still got a long way to go, but it's boiling pretty hard. So now I'm turning it down to a medium-low. Our soup has cooked for about 50 minutes or so, and the kale and the other vegetables are cooked enough for me, and it looks really good. So I'm calling it quits. And there it is, plated up. You're looking at my supper. The recipe is below. Let me know if you have any questions. This is Judi at Judi in the Kitchen. Bye for now.